Welcome to the Land Chat Podcast.
All right then, we are back. Another
Halloween.
episode.
Woo.
It's a Halloween special.
Love Halloween.
Yeah.
Guys,
Kind of
I don't want
Halloween.
to. I don't want to scare you, but there's someone in between you both.
Who is it?
And joining us this week is Chris Rees, friend of the show. Chris is from the Welsh Paranormal Research Society.
That's right.
Well remembered.
Yeah, well remembered. Here's the notes. Yeah, he's joining us this week to well, make this special a special, I
Yeah.
suppose.
Yeah.
So thanks for coming on, Chris.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
thanks,
Nice
Chris.
to see you. See you nice.
Just to let everyone know, I did whisper Halloween at the beginning of this, so if you hear it later on, you know it was me. I did.
Let's fuck with people's heads already.
Oh, did you?
I did, yeah.
All right.
So Halloween, special time of year.
Yeah.
Is this more of a heightened time of the year where supernatural elements occur more often, or
To be honest with you, for some reason, I don't know whether it's to do with emotion or whether it's something to do with weather or whatnot or environmental factors. But what I've noticed is once the winter comes in and darker nights come, we get more cases. So
that's
that does
interesting.
happen. Yeah, I've predicted that, and it has started occurring now. So yeah, that is.
So, Chris, is Halloween like the day Halloween? Is there anything special about the day, like the ghosts come out on Halloween, or is that just a
Ghosts come on
fallacy?
Halloween. I'm not sure. Well, the thing is, because of the history behind Halloween itself, it's all about haunts and spirits and
Yeah.
whatnot, and witches and witchcraft and everything.
Did it start off in Scotland or something like that?
I'm not sure.
Sam Hain in it?
Well, I'm.
It's a pagan. I think it's.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
pagan
it's a
festival.
pagan
I don't know
thing.
though, because I've read it started off with the Celts, and what they would
But I
do is
know in other countries like Poland and all that, on the 31st October, they celebrate the dead.
yeah, it's like
In Mexico,
In
they do
Mexico,
as well, don't
they
they?
do, don't they?
Have you
Yeah,
seen
Mexico.
Coco? Disney film?
Oh, he's been good
No, I
about
haven't seen
Coco.
Coco.
I know,
No,
he's
I
innocent
don't
I'll have to
last
watch
night.
I
that.
don't think Polish
It's
do
a
like the
fucking Halloween
Mexicans do it.
special. Come on,
Yeah.
it's a kids' films out
Yeah.
there.
Coco, the
Ghost-
Halloween
ghost-
film.
ghost film.
Yeah, we want to be a real ghost, Chris.
You want to be a real ghost?
Yeah.
I think what it is with Halloween and the background that it's got on it, and what was your name? Sorry,
Stephen.
Stephen was mentioning
Ratty.
just
No, Ratty.
Ratty.
Yeah.
Ratty. As Ratty mentioned, the history behind it, especially with celebrating the dead, especially within Mexico, is that right? Somebody just went
Yeah, yeah,
Mexico as well.
Day of the
Poland,
Dead.
The
they
Day of the
celebrate
Dead.
The dead, like.
Yeah. With that in mind, you're going to have that atmosphere, aren't you, and that kind of energy around it. And with that energy, you're going to get association with activity occurring. And it's on your mind, isn't it? It's all about fear then, isn't it, with Halloween?
Do you think that's what it is? We're so afraid of dying
I think it is.
because
yeah.
isn't that's what religion is about? Isn't that like the safety net? If you believe in a
Yeah,
God,
yeah.
you're fine.
Oh, I don't know. That's a deep one there.
Like
Dropped
when
you
it
in
comes to
right
at the
God,
beginning.
everyone feels loving and giving.
Every religion has its own beliefs.
Mm.
There are gods and creators, and I think that people have experienced things that they can't explain,
Mm.
and from there they took it on board, or they believe in these things themselves
Yeah.
based upon their background in religion.
Chris, does everyone who come to you then, are they always religious?
No, you could have your average.
So let's
Go on.
break it down then. So your organization then, Chris, which you've created, you specifically help people with issues, problems, or wonderings in regards to the paranormal,
Yeah,
and you investigate those things.
that's right. Yeah, what we do is go on. Sorry.
No, that's fine. So I just
right,
wanted- just in case people are not too sure. So
Yeah, yeah.
so
Yeah.
basically, you had a ghost hunter.
In a sense,
A
yeah.
real
that's-
life ghost hunter, Chris.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's what we
pretty
do.
Cool.
Happy days.
Yeah. The important thing to note, though, is it's more along the research side of trying to evidence this activity, because a lot of people, they make claims, but unless you can prove it, it's unfounded then, isn't it?
Yeah.
So your job is not really to find a ghost per se; it's to investigate what's going on with the open
Document
mind
it,
that
yeah.
it could be supernatural.
That's right. Yeah, completely. Yeah, completely. Yeah.
Nailed it.
But we're trying to we're trying to put it down to we're trying to apply more of a research method.
Because I suppose if you get carried away,
Go for the elements and all that. Well,
Everything.
Yeah.
Energy, elements, lighting, frequency, vibration, everything. But then once you go down that realm of science, it
gets
does.
a bit too much, does it?
No, it tips on to a little bit of. You start to go into faith.
Yeah.
You start to go into how energy works and
Yeah.
then things you can't see.
Yeah.
and then things happen,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
very hard to explain why they're happening. I don't think, personally, with all the research that we're doing, I don't think we'll ever know 100%. You know, there's never going to be 100%
Yeah.
guarantee that was a ghost, but the activity that occurs, we have to put it down as anomalous phenomena.
So you have somebody come to you. They say, "Look, we're experiencing these kind of phenomena within the home or whatever."
Yeah.
You go there, and you try and knock out possibilities of it being natural, normal occurrences, whether it be electrical, like you said, frequency, stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Now, once you're satisfied, all those things are ticked off.
Yes.
What happens then? Do you get excited? Do you keep it cool? Do you have then a total bag full of gimmicks then you bring out to test for ghosts? Is there a proton backpack involved?
I wish there was a
Technical
technical.
issues. It's not working, Jim.
That's okay.
It's the wrong- Sorry, technical
Right,
issues.
yeah,
Sorry.
Technical issues. No. Right. Okay. So there's a process, and with that process, there's
2 3s on the end.
All right.
Sorry,
okay.
my
that's
past-
okay. Nobody knows it. There's a process, and with that process, there will be an initial interview where we'll have a conversation with them to find out what they're experiencing. We will then deploy different scientific tools to measure
Yeah.
baselines within the premises or property, and it depends on the situation. Where's the activity happening? What is the activity? What could it be? Some people always, sometimes if it's something, for example, the hair on the back of your neck is standing on end, depending on, well, electricity, especially in the AC range, alternative current, it causes a magnetic field, and that could cause like a fear factor.
Isn't it? I watched something before. I think it was a ghost hunter program, American one.
Yeah.
And there was like a factory, and there was a lot of cases of paranormal activity. But what they worked out was, because it's so close to these electrical pylons,
Yeah.
is it? I'm not sure. Is it not EMF?
It's an EMF, electromagnetic field.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
causing immense paranoia and illusions.
Correct.
Yeah, which
Yeah,
is
it does.
fascinating
That's
because
pretty cool.
Yeah.
and
right,
that can
it's correct.
actually happen.
Yeah.
Fear cage. I can't remember the theory on it.
Yeah.
It's fear cage, I think it is, because
Yeah.
what it does is like almost like you're being affected by an invisible force, but it isn't supernatural. It's more of a man-made human environmental factor, which is causing you to become affected and feel drowsy, or like someone's behind you watching you, and it's nothing. It's just the energy, and you're sensing it. Your body's capable of sensing that, because everybody has different. What I learned recently was everybody has different nervous systems
Yeah.
and strengths within the
Similar
nervous system.
nervous, aren't
So
they?
yeah, like pain thresholds. So people
Yeah.
can sense things further away from them, energy-wise. You can sense it.
Yeah.
Like certain people could use a mobile phone and have headaches, and be
Yeah.
like, I can't use that phone next to my head. I can't do it. And it's all because of the energy from. Well, a mobile phone is around 900 megahertz, which is GSM bandwidth, and with that, headaches.
Yeah.
Constant headaches
Yeah,
for
yeah.
certain people, not everybody. So
Yeah. Guys, that leads us on to the first
Sorry.
video. So what we're going to do,
God.
right, we're going to intercut
okay,
some of your evidence into this video.
no problem.
So we couldn't have written that
I
better.
remember
We
this.
did. Let Chris just explain what's going on here. Just give us a
Yeah,
background
yeah.
with it.
So, yeah, Chris, if you just give us a little explanation as to this story, it's quite a cool bit
So
of
when we
footage.
play it as well, see if you can get your mic close.
Yeah, okay,
to it
okay.
as well. We're finding our feet with this, so we're
Yeah.
trying to arrange
okay.
to film this and so you can hear it.
We could probably put the proper links on after.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
we
what
can
I'll do-
actually. Yeah,
we're gonna-
sorry.
yeah.
My bad. I've been a
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
moron.
Yeah, we'll
there.
just try and cut it in.
Thanks,
yeah.
Raz.
All right, go on. Come on, Chris. So
Okay.
what's going on here?
Okay, this is a property that we're investigating. Persons who contacted us were experiencing phenomena within the house, and literally as we visited, we got nothing. Nothing was happening. We had a medium on board at the time
Right.
that was picking up everything because they're able to do that. Whereas my side of it is scientific. The mediums is pseudoscientific or pseudo, however they say it. You know what I mean? That. And with that in mind, a lot of the mediums was picking up a lot of stuff within the premises, but scientifically, I wanted some kind of evidence. And what had happened was, we'd asked out for some kind of response just to evidence that there's something there. And what had occurred was the light began flashing.
Right then. Let's see it, Chris.
Okay.
Really strange, you know, when the night when you actually taking on.
Go up to it.
Because all the lights are out. Moonlight that's always this. Everyone else is out. No lamp is out.
Can you make a light flicker again?
Off a video
Can you show
camera.
us?
Or a phone. No.
No.
hard, really strong one.
The problem we got,
Go on. You getting it?
Yep.
You filming it?
Yep.
Do it again. Alright, I'll do. Okay. So you want
what's doing it?
Way.
No. Okay, just go. Alright.
Wow, that's amazing.
Okay, can you leave it on now? Okay, that'll do.
Stop that from playing. It's going to play the next video.
Play the next video, yeah.
The important thing to note with that property was that light in that front room was on for ages whilst we were doing like initial conversation with the home housekeepers, you know, the people that live there. We were having a conversation with them about what they think's going on, all this stuff, and with that in mind, nothing had happened. It was only that all of a
So
sudden.
it was as soon as you asked,
Yeah,
it then happened.
yeah,
Now you're gonna get skeptics, obviously.
that's fine. That's totally fine.
So people are gonna watch that and say, "Are you absolutely?
Well,
do you feel content with saying that's paranormal? Could you be assured there was nobody there with a dimmer switch?"
Well, this is the thing. What we did, we pulled the lamp apart and took the bulb out and put it different parts of the house, and it wasn't flickering at all. So unless they put something in the ceiling,
Yeah, but
which
how
was,
old,
we can't prove that.
Yeah,
how
yeah.
was it done for electric? If it's all
Well,
wiring,
again,
It's right.
we could be
fine.
ultra skeptical, or we could just take the word off.
Well, like you said,
Yeah, yeah.
involving the science stuff.
Yeah, totally. I mean, the thing is, you got to have the thing with this research, you always got to have an open mind. It's electricity,
Mm.
and you can only do so much before you go on to the level of is there a device in the ceiling?
Yeah,
Things
yeah.
like that. You know, there's nothing we can do about that.
Like, were you asking her questions, and it was like
I was
answering-
asking for a response, and the front room light started to flicker. So then I asked one of the colleagues with me to grab the camera and film it. And the more I kept asking,
Oh, so that happened before, and then it carried on happening.
yeah.
during
It
the-
was,
okay,
that's how
cool.
the camera came on. And started
Yeah,
filming
yeah.
it, even though nothing was happening. It happened before. What it was, we were having a conversation, started flickering. And I thought, well, why? What's this now? So we started asking for a response, and then
Yeah.
the light went out completely. And the people that lived there
That
were.
shit you up there, wouldn't
It did. It did put hair on the back of my neck.
Did it
do you know
happen?
what I mean?
Did it happen to the people that lived there before?
The people that lived
The people
previous.
No, the people that were living there. So when they were sitting there, would the lights flicker
Yeah,
then?
yeah.
Oh,
They had a
right,
lot.
okay.
They had a lot going on. They had a lot of EVPs, electronic voice phenomena recordings, and with that, they had a lot of. I didn't get to hear a lot of the footage. One of my colleagues got to listen to it, but there was. They were very. The people that lived in that house were very interested. Well, I can't say who or where, but I can just say that they were interested in the paranormal, and I think they tapped into it. And with that,
like a Ouija board or something like that.
maybe, but they had an
They're
interest in it.
dangerous. They
You
are.
don't mess around with
I
that.
don't know
do
if they-
you? Just in case.
I don't know if they used a Ouija board.
was originally a toy, do you know that?
Yeah.
Jesus,
It
some
was
toy.
originally a toy. Yeah.
Can you remember?
Imagine
right,
that for getting that for Christmas.
Remember that we were told a story before about a boy that used to live with us and his mum. I
What, they
don't know
live
if she
with
was
us?
like,
Who?
Well, I won't say because it's a
A
bit.
boy used to
it
live
might
with
be
you.
false. No,
Yeah.
near us, and I
Right,
think
okay.
his mum was like a spiritualist or something like
Oh,
that.
right,
And
I
they
think,
said
yeah.
no, his sister was his sister or something.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
anyway, what he said, and like, I don't know, he could have been bullshitting, I don't know. But he was quite an honest guy. I remember he said that his sister or someone was messing around with a Ouija board, and after that, then their house just started going crazy.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
things would just like doors would just open on their own. I think he move out for.
Could it be a case of you freaked yourself out?
Yeah.
and you're
Yeah,
more
it's
sensitive
Again,
to
that is
things?
possible.
I've
Yeah.
done Ouija board.
Yeah, well here.
No, not here. When I was a kid.
Did you have anything happen?
Would you if you go on?
Like spinning
No, I've
glass shooting off,
See
all
what I
that
mean?
type of stuff.
It's crazy. It's that type of
If
stuff.
it was me,
I've-
I'd
That's
I've-
scaring the
I've
living
done
daylights out of me. That
I've
was.
done one.
If that happened
Have
to
you?
me,
Yeah,
What
I've done
happened?
one.
I've never
Yeah,
done one.
over
Okay.
a friend's house, Connolly's actually.
What happened?
Fuck all.
What happened with you, Jim Rat? I was really interested then.
I
you
don't
were
think
saying-
did
Spinning
it wrong.
glass, spinning around that.
Yeah.
But as I said, no one knows because you grab your
Yeah.
hand on the
Yeah.
glass and
So
then
I
it
think
does
it's someone
that
messing
type of
around.
thing, you know.
yeah.
Someone
But
like
you
that.
try asking the questions. Yeah. It came with a name called Trog. Don't know what
What
Trog
a strange
was.
name.
Yeah.
Trog.
But then the girls got a bit freaked out
You
and
would
the
though, wouldn't
glass
you?
just went flying, but no one knew what happened to the glass.
Yeah,
Something
it
just
could
shut
have
or-
been a
or she-
simple fact that somebody
Someone
freaked
pushed
out.
But someone just,
Yeah, yeah.
the girls get freaked out anyway.
Yeah.
It's so hard
Dangerous,
because
As you're young, you like scaring yourself.
But if we did a Ouija board now, I wouldn't trust any of us not to be messing around with each other.
But not
Do you
just
know
that,
what I mean?
I think I would try and fuck around. Like,
Yeah, like, I wouldn't trust myself
That's
not
the
to
thing.
mess around with
That's
you.
the point. There's a lot of
That's where-
potential human
Yeah.
contamination of
Can you
evidence.
imagine-
100%.
It is amazing though, you know, and I think ghosts is such a fascinating subject because I think everyone knows a ghost story, don't they?
Yeah.
Can you
What
remember
what it is, if we all understood it to be true, there was a paranormal, there was an afterlife. Think how content we'd all feel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, knowing like someone passed
Because
away. Yeah.
yeah,
It's not the end.
Has
if I die, fine. I could just say hello to you when you come over to the other side.
Yeah.
No biggie.
Chris, so
Hope you know
so
why.
let's dispel some myths about ghosts then, right? Okay. When people say ghosts, because obviously I've done a documentary of you, so I
Yes.
have a little bit of insight into it. When people say ghosts, you don't see.
Apparition.
Yeah, it's rare to see a full body apparition, isn't it, Chris?
That's okay. That's all right.
I'm right
better.
in saying it's very rare to see like a full body apparition, like a full person,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yeah, when I was doing a lot of cases in the past, people would see body parts. What I mean
Yeah.
by body parts is the feet of some soldier rather than the full body going across the carpet, but you could actually hear the sound of the carpet moving and see the feet. I couldn't see it.
That's quite freaky.
But the
Yeah.
guy that saw the feet was military too. So there was a connection there. So
Yeah.
it was like the person who'd passed, who was military, was
Yeah.
showing the military colleague that I was with,
Yeah.
look at me, I've got my boots on.
Mm.
So, and he could see
Yeah.
it. And I couldn't see it, but I could hear it. So I'm in this room thinking, I'm thinking, shit. Do you know what I mean? I can hear
Yeah.
somebody walking, but I can't see nothing. I said, what's going on? And he said, oh, it's a pair of military boots. I can see them going back and forth, like he's patrolling. And I thought, I can't see it. I couldn't. He could. I couldn't.
But that's quite interesting, though, isn't it?
yeah.
Because when people say ghosts, they think freaking seeing a whole person there.
No.
And like
Ghostbusters, yeah.
from making the documentary, when the first things people commented on is they thought that was quite interesting. So when you see ghosts, like I was speaking to the medium who was in, he said he didn't think he'd ever see a full body apparition, did he?
No.
Me and Rat were having a conversation earlier about ghosts, obviously, because we're going to have this podcast today. And we were discussing, like, what is the oldest ghost recorded? Because we thought, would there be, and this may sound,
You probably can answer
I
this.
know what
if
this
you
is because I
like.
heard this the other
this
day.
may sound ridiculous, but can you get like a T-Rex ghost?
Yeah.
You know, could you get like a
A
Neanderthal man
with a
ghost?
club.
Right. Well, this is the thing. Everything is made of energy and matter, and people.
That
have
doesn't
seen-
matter.
No. No, what I mean is, what I'm trying to, I've been looking into this and trying to understand it myself. Obviously, with researching such a subject, especially with the supernatural, and trying to prove it, and it's difficult to prove because, evidence in it is really hard. Because at the same time, are we supposed to know? Are we allowed to know? Are we supposed to know that there's another side? Does it exist? Is it there? Are we allowed that knowledge? Because the only people that seem to get a glimpse of it is a lot of this near-death experience where people come from hospitals with the story of the tunnel of light and they've seen people and family and whatnot. Is that happening to them?
Yeah.
Is it a figment of the mind because of death coming near, or is it actually occurring? And obviously from that, the stories are all the same. If you look at near-death experiences, everybody has the same kind of story. They experience the tunnel and they end up in this place and someone's talking to them. And it happens all the time. So it's like, how can it happen to a lot of these people, the same thing? They wouldn't make it up if they were dying.
It is a really good,
You know?
if it about DMT.
I've heard of that too,
The pineal gland in your head.
Yeah, well, that's
in
the
your
When
brain.
the body,
Yeah.
the brain
Apparently
shutting down,
releases this very strong hallucinogenic chemical, which is actually, if true, would suggest to me there is some type of something happening after death. Because what they're saying is your body's full of energy.
Yes.
Energy doesn't die.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
Well, Einstein said that, didn't
So when you are dying and you release this DMT, it's a very very potent kind of chemical that makes, apparently people who have experienced it have said that it's not just that I'm like imagining something. I feel like I'm actually there,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
more
yeah, yeah.
potent than any drug on the planet. But we naturally release this chemical, and a lot of people are saying that is the reason for that. It's for our energy when we die biologically. Is this then releasing or allowing the energy to pass through into whatever world is being created by this drug, which we don't forget, which we naturally create.
Yeah.
No. I know, it's very interesting.
It's mad.
This is
So,
the thing.
that's actually
Yeah,
some
yeah, yeah.
science there.
It's touching on it.
This is why I'm not. I do like. I am skeptical. I'm just naturally skeptical
There's
anyway.
nothing wrong with that at all.
Right, and I think that's healthy because
Yeah,
if there's a truth, if there's a truth, you won't find it by believing everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course
yeah.
you won't. Yeah.
Oh my God! No,
You'll find it by skepticism.
Yeah,
right?
you've got to look at it. You've got to look at it.
But I
sensibly.
think that's really interesting, though, and I think maybe there's natural, and there's the natural which we've yet to discover.
Yeah.
No, it's an interesting point.
It's very interesting.
Chris, we touched on something earlier, which I thought was really interesting.
Okay.
You're right, Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My throat.
Yeah.
He's been chopping trees.
Do me a
today.
favour.
Chopping
I don't want to sound rude. It's going to be annoying. Just push it away,
Yeah.
and when you want to talk, bring it back.
Yeah. Sorry.
Because
go
it's going to be over the whole
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm doing
Um,
that.
Sorry, I was
Sorry,
chopping
mate.
down a tree earlier on, and I swear I've ingested like
Tree.
half of the tree.
One of pine tree was there.
No, it was a bloody I don't know what sort of tree it was. A bastard. That's what it was.
Looks like the little things that the pine that comes off and all that.
Chips everywhere.
Chris,
All the good ones. yeah.
Yes.
so the amount of houses, so ratio-wise, how many houses, because we were talking about this earlier, and it was a very interesting point. You said that a lot of places you go to aren't actually haunted. So a lot of people think their house is haunted, but a lot of them aren't.
Yeah, that's right. Well, okay. Now going into that, it's not always the house. It could always be the people are going through something through whatever their issues are, what they're going through, their experiences. It's not always the home, because the home could have a story, and things are happening because of that story in the past. So residual energy, which mediums would refer to as a catastrophic or a chaotic event that occurred, say a murder in a house. So then you could that becomes imprinted within that space, and people can. It's like an echo in time. Then you see it again and again. People see cars disappearing into like wooded areas, and years ago there used to be a road there.
Yeah,
But that's the past echoing through.
The Cardiff Castle that happened recently.
that?
Well, when I
Yeah.
read that book. Remember, I lent a book off you, didn't I?
Yeah,
Or did
yeah.
Why have you given you that book back?
No, not yet.
Cardiff.
Oh, I'll find
no,
out. So
you-
if I don't, let me know. I'll buy you
Yeah,
another
so
one.
that's-
I'll buy you another one.
It's fine. It's
But-
gone. It's gone.
It's gone. But there was it was quite recently. It was in only in the 70s or something. Some guy was walking to work, and he moved out the way because he had a carriage going past him,
Yeah.
and a carriage shot past him and went into the wall into Cardiff
right,
Castle.
yeah.
Apparently, there used to be a path there running alongside
Yeah.
the castle.
Yeah,
That's quite
but-
freaky, isn't it?
Exactly, but then at the same time you think that's a ghost, but it might not be a ghost. It could just be some kind of blip, like a computer malfunction sometimes.
Like the Matrix.
Yeah, that kind of thing. But in our world, we're atoms, aren't we? And
Yeah,
energy,
yeah.
and with that, it matters.
Scientific joke. You got one in.
So the thing is, right?
Dropping knowledge.
The point is, it's like everything. Nothing's perfect, is it?
No.
Everything is. They say.
Except for Floyd Mayweather's fight record.
50-0.
Well, the thing is, everything, because it's all based around atoms and everything fluctuates all the time. Is it possible that the past can catch up with the present can go into the past? You know, this goes along then to quantum mechanics
Yeah,
and
it kind
quantum
of goes
physics.
into parallel universe and stuff
Yeah.
as well,
Oh,
doesn't
the
it?
multiverse. thing.
Yeah, yeah.
That's another theory to look
Yeah,
at.
yeah.
But again, that's like Sliders, isn't it?
Yeah,
yeah,
good show.
Yeah, it's a good film. Show that was.
Yeah,
Um,
brilliant.
yeah, but the thing is, that's not necessarily a ghost, then, is it? It's just an echo of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because-
but it's frightening. It's
But
frightening.
it's subjective as well, though, isn't it, ghosts? Because if you were to hear a noise, people would attest that to like
Yeah,
ghostly
they don't
activity.
know what it is. They go, oh, it must
Yeah.
Well, it's the same with
It's
UFOs. I mean, a
yeah.
UFO doesn't mean alien spaceship. It means
An
you just
ident-
can't
yeah,
identify
yeah,
it.
yeah.
And because we're not all fucking
Well, like the other
professionals and
Yeah.
we don't know what's
Mexico,
going on.
innit?
What's
Like
that?
he
Oh, he was
took
tripping
it.
balls outside.
I was like,
what
what
happened,
like
Steve?
he's there. I
He
can't
kept
see
looking.
fuck all. I go, look, it's there. It's there. It's moving.
He kept looking. He
I'm
goes,
like, "It's moving."
I'm looking up to this.
I'm putting him in my finger, like following him around, squealing around. He's going, eh?
Yeah, Steve,
Let's
have
go
you
look at this,
spoken
look at this.
anything?
Huh? No.
You hadn't.
I was looking up. It's this empty sky, and he's going, look.
Was it just like a satellite going over or something?
And in the end, I
The
felt
satellite
like
don't squiggle.
No, it doesn't.
no, he was seeing shit I couldn't see.
James, had you been doing any drugs?
But I
Tripping
didn't say it was
balls.
a spacecraft, though.
There's something I had on my mind earlier when you were asking me something, and I've lost it, so it might come back later. I don't know what it was. Sorry.
What's the freakiest story you've ever heard then? Because one we heard in school. Can you remember Mr. James, English teacher?
Yeah.
So Mr. James, would you
I
like?
left then.
Will you
Chris, move the newer thing
Oh, sorry.
branded towards you.
But anyway, Mr. James. Okay, I always remember him telling me a story we were in. I think it was coming up to Halloween, and we were reading ghost stories or something. And he said he was at his friend's house. They'd recently renovated this barn stables.
Yeah.
And they were sitting there, they just had a party, and he was sitting there, having a few drinks and chatting. And he said he saw this little kid sitting on the stairs, just looking, smiling, and he was assuming it's just the son, just being a little shit, and staying up when he shouldn't have been. And he was like, your son was sitting on the stairs, and he was like, my son wasn't here. He's at his grandmother's or whatever. And I remember that, and Mr. James, to me,
was a man who wouldn't lie.
To me,
A man of
I don't know.
principle.
I can't see why he would lie, and he was really
Told about a brown pants.
But it's
break you, wouldn't you?
I've told this story probably on the fucking podcast
Go
before.
on.
But when I was living at home, I had a friend, and he stayed over till late. And my mum was upstairs in bed, and he leaves, and I walk upstairs, and then there's a little crack in the door, so she can see the stair landing and
Seen with
the
the crack,
stairs.
Jim.
So I was walking up the stairs, right, just fucking knackered, ready to go to bed. And anyway, so she says, she just shouts at me then. She went, "It's 2:00 in the bloody morning." I went, "I know, I'll go to bed." She went, "Yeah, but you don't bring friends up at this time of the morning, James. It's 2:00. I went, "What are you on about? Paul's just gone." She went, "Well, who's that behind you?"
I would have dropped. I would have dropped.
Sorry, I would have fell on the stairs.
I'd just
And I
dropped
went-
the brick. Yeah,
just shat.
And I went,
I would have been it, man.
"Nobody's there behind me." And I looked,
Scary, innit?
honestly, I looked behind her, so I said, "What the fuck you on about?" It's because as you're coming up, hand on the rail, there was a hand following your hand.
No, that's freaky,
So
innit?
of course, I went to bed. I couldn't fucking sleep. I put on
Naturally.
Friends. VHS tapes going in one after the
Yeah,
other.
Yeah,
you
you
watch
will.
comedy, don't you? When
Yeah.
you're
I
scared,
think
you
the
put a comedy on.
freakiest thing I've ever happened, and I wouldn't say I don't know about ghosts. I love conspiracy theories and Bigfoot, but ghosts for me is just something I'm just not sure about. But there's one story, and I think I might have shared it before. We were in the hotel just down here, and it was my wife's sort of.
Wait there, Chris. Why do you stay in a hotel that's literally about a mile and a half from your house?
Because the party was going on
I've done
really
it.
late, and
Oh, yeah.
literally, I think we got a room for 15 quid or something.
Bargain.
Bargain bucket, definitely.
But that's more than a taxi
Bitch,
home.
shut up! I'm trying to talk here.
Isn't it?
I'm spilling.
Stop having a Twitter.
Yeah.
There's always one.
And and I remember, right, me and Nick, for some reason, we asked for a double bed. They give us 2 fucking single beds, as they always do. So Nick was on one bed, I was on another bed, okay.
Separated.
Push them together.
Nah, fuck
You'd
that.
like to
Only
spread out
15 quid.
sometimes, don't you?
They're at that point in the relationship, it's
15
5
yeah.
years in.
It's like a
Yeah,
break.
5 years in. Fuck
Chris
that.
wants the fucking leg room.
And anyway, right, I just remember, there was the part of the so I'm laying here and the toilet's in front of me, and for some reason I kept staring at the toilet expecting someone to jump out. There was something weird about it, and I went to sleep then, and I
187, is it?
yeah. Anyway, I went to sleep then because I
Can I just go back?
yeah, go on.
What was I've never known a toilet to be that suspicious unless he's wearing a fucking hoodie. You think he's going to attack you.
No, I just for some reason I just got the feeling
What was it
someone was
about it?
someone was in there, and I checked loads of times. I kept saying to Nick,
Rubber ducky appeared on the
I
door.
kept saying to Nick, man, I'm just, do you know when there's someone
Did
stood,
you go in there?
I went in there, but you know when there's someone stood next to you, you know there's someone there, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
feel
if
it.
you can feel it, but it was like that. Anyway, I fell asleep, and I woke up then about I don't know, sometime during the night, and I had the sensation someone was pushing me down on the bed, but it wasn't someone strong.
Pretty neck.
No, but I was and I was like
Except push these beds together.
no, and I was calling out to Nick, and then
Paralysed?
no,
Because most people find that,
Yeah,
don't they, when
sleep
they
paralysis.
yeah,
isn't
sleep
it?
paralysis. But I
Yeah.
just I shouted
That's
to Nick,
definitely something.
and then Nick went, "What?"
Did you have your eyes open?
At the time, yeah, and I just couldn't. I turned around, and as soon as I turned around, it stopped. But it did. The weirdest thing was, it didn't feel like it was someone strong. It didn't feel like they were overpowering
So
me.
when
No, straight away I felt it.
and then you
felt
got up
it.
straight away.
I turned around to see because I thought it was Nick.
So you're on your stomach
I was on my stomach,
and they
You're
push
getting
you
a
back.
massage.
pushing me
Well,
down on my,
that's-
and it felt like there was
yeah.
someone pushing me down,
That's
but they
a
weren't
police car,
stronger than me.
Did Nick wake up?
Yeah, I said Nick, and then she just went, what, half asleep, and I said, God, what the. I was like,
Does
what
she
are you
go
doing?
back to bed, you little bitch?
The toilet just attacked me.
No, but I
You
remember.
cheated on a ghost.
I knew I should have trusted that, Lou.
No, I remember telling the woman when we checked out.
Well, the toilet.
No, that about like what happened. I didn't tell about the toilet.
Yeah, right there, Chris.
Till now.
So you didn't tell her about the toilet, but you told you were pinned down by a weak person.
No, I said I told her I had a really weird like experience in that hotel room.
I can see you going to say, look.
She's like, oh, you're lucky bastard.
So you're going to say, look.
Well worth 15 quid.
I'm not being funny.
I paid you double for that. No, but anyway,
So the
come
next
out.
time,
Are we talking about ghost sex or something?
I think.
Is that how far it went?
What, an
I-
English hotel?
No, I think
going there
she
tonight.
got mixed messages.
What I would do the next time you stay in a hotel, you want to get a DBS check for the toilet.
But I remember telling the woman, and she went, "Oh, that's really interesting, 'cause that's not the first time we've been told that." Down here, I swear to God, I swear to God, at God's honest truth,
Well,
it happened.
That's a good
Well,
thing.
all this is built on graveyard.
Oh, was
chapel,
it?
is,
Yeah,
yeah.
chap used to be it, didn't it?
Was it?
Used to be a chapel, yeah. and
Yeah,
be a
I
graveyard.
Chapel Woods,
I
isn't
didn't
it?
know that.
Yeah.
I
That's
didn't
why
know
it's
that.
called Chapel Wood then.
I think weird things do
That's the
happen,
weirdest
don't
thing
they?
that's
Where the
happened.
harvesters is, there used to be the barn house, the farmhouse.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
And you have the chapel round by here somewhere.
Yeah.
Right by
Yeah,
here.
Well, guys,
What's on room 165?
let's keep it freaky.
Oh, let
Come
me
on
just let me
Anyway.
say one more thing
Go on, Chris. Yeah, I'm
about
loading this
that
up.
story you said about the bed.
Yeah.
There was one time I was renting a flat in Cardiff, and it was like, I don't know, it was like 7 o'clock in the morning. The missus was having a shower. The dog was in the front room, and the door was closed to the front room. And she came out of the shower to go into the front room. And the creepiest thing about this is the fact that she wasn't nowhere near the bedroom. And you know when someone jumps over a bed, like over the top of you, over the bed to get to the other side, that kind of thing as a kid would do, messing around.
Yeah.
That happened to me. I felt the bed go right down, come back up, and I went,
No.
you know, Scarlett, what the are you doing? Like, you know, I'm trying to sleep at 7 in the morning. She wasn't even there. She was in the front room, just had a shower.
Weird things
Yeah,
do happen.
But in
don't they?
indentation,
Yeah, yeah,
from the
that's
bed,
weird.
go down
So-
I've had
and
that.
come back up.
It's,
like that.
it is weird.
It's weird, isn't it?
She's
It's
like here, bed,
Hey,
don't you?
later on, I'll tell you about the stones, Chris.
stones, okay.
I'll tell you about the
yeah,
stones.
I'm
Oh, that's
skeptical.
where you
I'm
two are
skeptical
fucking-
about this stone.
No, it happens.
Yeah, go on.
Right,
Okay.
so talking about freaky, right? Like, I've done a lot of filming, as has James, right? And there's one thing, I was going through all your evidence this morning,
Okay.
and one thing I found really interesting is the EVP stuff.
Okay.
So obviously, I filmed loads of stuff. Like I said, so's James. I've never had voices come out from nowhere. Have you?
Only crew taking a piss.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
like,
naturally.
no one,
Nothing, yeah.
nothing that's
Nothing I couldn't
explained
explain.
away.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the EVPs I find really interesting because most microphones in cameras and stuff are directional anyway, aren't they?
Yes, that's right.
So they only pick up a very small field. It's like a light. It's like a flashlight, isn't it?
That's
they
right,
only really
yeah.
pick up a very small
Yeah.
field.
Yeah.
So anyway, so this is
So talk us through this
so
then.
John. So this is the EVP with Richard,
Right, okay.
the Remember Me one.
Yeah, well, what this is a pub in Pontypridd, and I can't say the name, but what I can say is within the premises there's an activity room upstairs. So on our first, this is the thing, this is the second visit.
Right.
So on the first visit we went there, when you go up the flight of stairs, to your right is a room. I didn't know what it was, first of all. I'll get closer, sorry. I'm realising it's quite weak on the thing. Yeah, so the first, as you go up the flight of stairs, there's a pub downstairs. Upstairs is an activity room, which we you have parties, dances and everything like that. So what had happened was, they said, oh, come and investigate. So we went to investigate. So I hadn't even got my equipment together. This is before this second visit on that video now. And as we went up the stairs, it's all dark upstairs, not even ready for us to go in. They just left it and went, yeah, go up there. Go ahead. Always things are happening up there. Most of the time it sounds like there's a party upstairs. Like people are there and they're not. So it's like, okay, we'll go up and have a look. So going up the stairs with the cases and everything, goes up to the top step, walks into this room, and there's a stage in front of you and a dance floor and everything. And to the right of us, I mean, I wasn't even thinking about this. It wasn't even in my mind. And there's a just like that door over there. There's no. It's like an opening into this place. I didn't know where it was going, but I didn't see it until I heard it. And what I heard was a little girl go, "Come here."
No.
And what I did naturally. I went, I'm
Fuck
not gonna.
off.
No, I didn't do that. I didn't do that. I wish I should have run away. It was pitch black.
Yeah.
And
you shit yourself.
I could even hear the echo of the voice within the room. So I knew he was over there. And what I did, I had the cases in my hand, and I just went, I didn't react.
Wow.
I stayed still and I carried on
My
going.
bowels would have reacted.
Yeah, but this is the best thing by being.
It would have been a bound trickled on my leg.
Yeah, definitely. In that case, yeah, I'm telling you now. But
That
this
is
is
freaky.
this is the thing. This is the best part about it because I didn't react and I didn't say nothing. I didn't go. I didn't do. Let's just say certain people on TV go. "Hurrah," you know?
Yeah.
Right, I didn't react. So what happened was, I turned over to another colleague, who was helping set up, and they turned over to me and they went, "Did you hear her?" And I went, "Yes."
See that's
No,
terrifying.
that's
right?
that's enough for me to know.
Yeah, because if I hear something, I go, oh, just me.
Yeah. Here's a question I want to know.
Yeah.
When like some ghosts, especially like the like most haunted and all that, they're supposed to be experienced hunters or medias, but yeah, when they ask questions, they hear a noise, they scream and do a runner. Why?
That'd be me.
I
I think it's
would.
dramatization, isn't
Did
it?
you get frightened? Yeah, do you
Because
still
if
get
they're in there
frightened?
for it, like try and take it seriously, you're not gonna run a noise like you want to confront them, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
You want to investigate where that sound's coming from.
that's right. Yeah, completely.
Find all you can.
Do you still
we
get
did.
frightened though, Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Naturally, because you don't know what it is. You don't know. Not that you don't know what it is. You don't know what's to come.
Yeah.
Like someone knocks your door, you know, so and so is coming over for a chat or whatever.
Yeah.
Come in, you
But
know,
if,
cup of
if
tea.
you're going like
Hey,
if you're
y-
going for a most haunted thing and you're a guest on there and you're working through, you're gonna expect something might happen.
I just think like
So
anything, like
every-
anything.
Otherwise, every noise just like anyway.
Yeah, but like
That'd be
anything,
me.
when there's money
Oh,
involved.
Oh no.
it gets a bit too,
Yeah.
a bit
You
too
talking about most haunted area?
started. Well, when there's money involved, I think they need to up the game.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. Imagine they
Up
were
the
doing a
ante.
special,
We're
a special for a
talking
week.
about
and
Okay,
then-
let's go back to
Yeah,
the
sorry,
story.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
so
go
this
on.
is freaky. This is the bit that it was quite freaky, right? So you
on
never heard this at the time, did you? It was only when you
Not at all.
played
No,
the
nothing.
footage after, right?
Okay,
Okay.
here we go.
Does sound like someone saying "Remember Me," doesn't it?
Yeah.
We'll play it back again. But if you listen to it, it sounds like there's a little girl, and it does sound like a little girl actually.
This is why we recognised it as something
Is there
probably.
a story about a little girl being there at all?
The only thing I've been told about that place is the upstairs is full of children playing
Right.
Spirit. So it's a very busy place for activity spiritually.
So something bad must have happened for a little girl. Or is it just a remembrance
Well,
thing
well,
that she might have
going
had?
back, the remember me, I think, is her saying, if indeed that is the spirit of the child talking there. What I think that is she's saying, remember me from last time when I
Yeah,
called you.
you're saying, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing that we attributed it to because it's odd, isn't it? It's odd to be saying those words if it is. I that's what we think it is somebody speaking, a child, girl speaking.
Yeah.
And it's remember me. Something massive happened in that place, and I haven't told anyone yet about that. But
So-
it was a proper response we had.
A little bit after,
Yeah.
there was something else, wasn't there? There was the girl saying "Remember." So there was
Yes.
"Remember Me," and then again. So if I play this,
Yes,
one,
that's right.
it's
Yeah.
quite.
Nothing like
No, that is quite clear.
It's quite clear, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Did you hear that,
amazing.
Steve?
It's absolutely.
I was quite creepy
Yeah.
because
That's probably one of the clearest EVPs I've ever
Yeah.
heard.
Yeah, we've got a really good one as well. Old recordings now from previous, where I'd have to find it because it's hard.
Do
to
you know
dig
what
up.
makes it real? It's like you can hear the breath all
Yeah,
sounds
I
like
know,
because she's supposed
I
to be
know.
dead. But you can hear like
I know
a bit of wind in there, like a bit of.
the effort put into speaking.
And the fact is, if you were gonna go to the length of like making that yourself, you'd want to do it over a clear bit, not when it's talking over people, because you run the risk it would be drowned out by other noises.
Yeah.
So if you were to do it, it's probably not best to do when people are talking,
That is odd.
which is quite an interesting.
Any more on it?
Yeah, I've got a few more. So as
Can
we're
I-
going along,
Just add on to that, we had a case years ago, a field investigation. Somebody was hunting in a field and they saw this black thing in midair come down, confront them and shoot off, which frightened the hell out of them naturally. So they asked us to go and have a look. So we went to have a look, and it was a big empty field. There was nothing there, and we did some recordings and brought it back. When we were there, we heard footsteps behind us.
Yeah.
But not on recording. It was behind us, the footsteps. on review of the footage, well, not footage, on review of the recording, the tape recordings, you're a baby.
That's freaky.
weird.
It is.
Nothing more creepy than a fucking baby crying.
Yeah, kids are
Annoying.
But I don't know.
annoying. Having 2 kids.
Well, I tell you.
Guys, so there's some more, right? There's another
Okay.
one which is quite cool. I think the EVBs, personally, I think they're the most compelling because,
It's very good. I mean,
as I said,
again,
if you know a bit about cameras, as we know, they're not great at picking up sound cameras, really.
Yeah, the amps on them are shit.
Yeah, they're not the best. So this one is someone supposedly heavy breathing, okay?
okay.
And again,
So,
I
alright,
don't know
is
if I
this
re-
the same place?
yeah, this is all the same place. It's all the
I
same.
don't remember this. We'll have to.
So where was this to then, Chris?
So I'll pause this. There's another one.
Okay, this is a bowling alley. It's the same place with the girl. It's a bowling alley underground. So there's an underground bowling alley that people used to use years and years ago. It's disused, but everything's original. Everything's still there. And what the medium was picking up on was a man in the bowling alley watching us and wasn't happy that we were there. So after about half hour of trying to communicate, I started to get this feeling of pressure, like unwelcome. It started to build up. You know when you feel like, you know when you're in a nightclub and you get that feeling like, oh, it feels a bit uncomfortable here, I'm not too sure about this, and then all of a sudden everybody's fighting.
Yeah, you
know,
can
that kind
feel
of
the
thing.
tension. You
Yeah,
can
yeah,
feel
that's the
tension.
word I'm looking for,
Or
tension,
if you
right?
go into a room, like, and you know someone's had an argument, and
Yeah.
that sort of,
That's the feeling
Yeah,
you got, right?
you just know.
That's
Picking up the fucking pen.
yeah. Well,
Saturday.
that heavy breathing one, right? This is what happened in that instance. Was there was 3 of us in there, 2 are mediums. I was the technician, researcher, and I was doing EVP recordings all around, and that's the only thing we got was that breathing. But I packed all of a sudden. I decided, right, I'm not liking this feeling, this tension feeling. I felt whooshing. I could hear and feel this whooshing sound around us, and within seconds, I packed everything away, leaned up against the wall, and the bowling alley got like a handle thing that goes all the way down. You know, like when you walk down it and you won't get your pins or whatever. Well, I leaned up against the wall, and the 2 colleagues were next to me. They were mediums, and they were nearest to the door. And the medium said, "What the fuck was that?" And all of a sudden, there was this loud.
I got a strike.
There was there was this loud crack, and he screamed, and I literally. What he described that he saw was something raised out of the floor, like a man came out the ground, out of the alley, darted towards the railing and hit it with his both hands. But I heard it. I heard the crack. The crack was so loud. You thought the building. The noise was so loud. You'd think that the floor coming down on you. So it was that bad that I managed to get past the 2 mediums and out the door first. I was gone.
Good
I was
man,
gone.
Chris, good
I
man.
was, yeah. But the
In a
best.
situation like that, Chris, what you don't need to be the fastest. You just need to be faster than someone else.
Yeah, exactly. Get out of there. Get out of there.
Yeah.
But the best thing about it was, I got out. The male medium got out. The female come running out behind, but her cardigan or whatever got stuck on a nail. So she's screaming, going, "It's got me! It's got me! It's got me!" She thought something had gripped her, and it was a hell of a experience.
God.
But then
No
the
pun
best
intended.
thing about it is when you look back at that room, you look through the doorway, all of us had that sense of "don't fuck with me,"
Yeah.
and it was that feeling inside, like you ain't coming back in here, and you could feel it. You could
Yeah.
feel
Weird,
the
isn't it?
you ain't coming in. It was a sense. It was like, this is where I think mediumship comes in. See, you got that feeling like you ain't coming. Just that sense, don't come back. Like, not I've just banged the noise and come back in again for another scare. It was like you ain't coming back in here, and we had to thank him in the end. We went to the door, and out of respect, because I can't see, I can't hear these people. Spirit, I'm like, okay, thank you for your response. And we'll leave you be in peace.
Yeah,
and
fucking prick.
yeah, but that's what you do out of
yeah.
respect. If they're there, you've got to do it, haven't you?
So one thing I've noticed, a lot of investigations, they do it in the dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that?
There's no right. Okay. With the dark, naturally there is a fear of the unknown. Now, what I can say about night or day, things do happen anyway. It doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
You could be in a house and things will happen. It's happened to me.
Yeah.
But in the evening, what happens is everybody goes home. The landscape calms down. Everybody goes to bed. All the energy's lower, and everybody goes to sleep. And it's that time where everything's calm. You're more likely to get.
So it's the best condition.
You wouldn't notice it.
What's
otherwise,
like in
yeah.
like some
Yeah, that's
countries
right.
then when you have more daylight or more
What's that, sorry?
darkness.
What's that?
Like Canada,
Yeah.
There's more
sometimes
light.
they get more darkness and others or
yeah.
more light.
Yeah.
Would that affect anything in that?
Night or day
'Cause
doesn't.
Like, it could be 12 o'clock midnight and it's like bright.
Bear
bright
ghost outside.
I don't think the thing is I don't think night or day affects activity, but it does heighten it in the evening because everything calms down, and if they're there and they want to communicate, it's more prominent. It'll stand out.
I suppose if it's like hustle and bustle, like in here, I could have a poor guys kicking the fuck out of my wall. And my phone's going off. They're sitting on YouTube. I'm looking at this. Tom rings.
there's
me.
I think that's it.
There's
Everything's
buses going
quieter,
past.
isn't there?
Yeah,
There's cars, there's ice cream vans, there's all this noise and pollution, sound and environment interference that noise, literally noise.
I'm
as
worried
you know.
about the future generations stuck to their fucking iPads. They're going to be floating around the room and not giving a fuck.
The light will be swinging back and forth.
There'll be 100
Yeah,
ghosts
pretty
in the
much.
room
Oh,
and
yeah,
everything.
I don't know, I'm on level 3.
It'd be the unwanted ghost.
Yeah.
Chris, you've got another EVP on here as
Yeah.
well. Someone saying hello. I think the EVPs are a bit
Lionel
more.
Richie.
Lionel Richie.
That's me you're looking for.
So right, again, none of these you hear at the
So,
time.
okay,
these
right.
EVPs.
What's the background then?
Can
Oh, it's just the same video,
This
is
is
it?
the same
All
place.
right,
In
okay.
the same place.
let me check if. Go on.
It's buffering. Buffering. Shouldn't be doing this.
Oh my God! Yeah, remember that.
Can you hear that?
Hello. It's
Can
a
you hear
woman. Hello. It's in the background. It is.
Try and play again. This one isn't as easy to.
Double tap on the left side.
That was very hard to pick up. That was.
Right, 2 seconds. It's not the easiest thing to do.
I can't.
If you double tap on the left of the screen,
Yeah.
it jumps forward.
Ah, right, okay. Oh, sorry guys.
That's the doorway we were talking about with the alley. Slam the door.
Right.
I can hear that.
Breathy.
Yeah, yeah.
You can hear it though, can't you? It's certainly.
That dictaphone was on we left that dictaphone on the stage and left it alone. Stayed away from it. So whatever, and it was pitch black. So whatever went near that dictaphone and done that, we were near it.
Chris,
We were-
one question, right?
yeah.
One thing, a very valid point someone asked. You know, with ghosts, say they're like, I don't know, 200 years old or whatever,
Yeah.
they're ghosts who had never seen this technology. How would they have the sense to talk into
Okay.
a dictaphone?
Correct.
Or do you think when they die, knowledge,
I don't think, right, this is a very... Do you know when you have a dream and you feel like you've been in the dream for about 9 hours and you've only slept an hour? There's no time on that side. So that's the one thing that we've been looking into is time doesn't exist over there.
Right, okay, that makes
In
sense,
what
yeah.
may be known as heaven or where we go in spirit. There's no time. They can jump in between and see everything as it is. But I think, like, I've been reading up on philosophies recently, and I think it's Chinese or Japanese. Don't quote me on this, but they believe that spirit or ghost misses certain things from the body, the human body. So your emotions and everything are not the same as they are over there.
Right,
So I think it's more about love and light and things like that over there
okay.
than conflict and confusion and pushing, rejecting things. Because, you know, like over here, you know, like the elderly would reject technology, don't they? Or people who technophobes reject it because it's new and it's unfamiliar.
Yeah.
Over there, it's more open
Yeah.
and more knowledge. They're meant to join. When you pass over, you're meant to connect with the source. And from that source, you become all knowledge.
Yeah.
And so this technology to them is not foreign. One of the things we do is we actually explain where to talk. We say, see the red light?
Okay.
We go, see the red light, go to the red light. If you speak, if you speak to the red light,
They're like, wait a minute, I fell for this one before.
if you
Go
speak
to the white light.
if you speak to the light, you can leave us a message that we might not be able to hear until later. So we actually tell them that, and then we've had our equipment malfunction because of that, because we've told them where to go, and then it's not literally where to go.
Just
we
fucking
d-
mouth.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
mouth
do
sex
one.
to
Yeah, we've
fucking
had,
dictaphone.
It's really interesting in like Asian culture, in like Japanese culture, what they say. Do you know like ghosts that die of so people that die of violent death. If they don't avenge their death, that's why they stay in haunted. So they don't avenge
Are
their
they all
death.
are they all tortured souls,
Well,
or just people who just?
to be honest,
is it
I think
purgatory, or is it and then heaven or hell or whatever?
I think it is depending on you as an individual and how you pass. One of the things, there's a friend of mine years ago from Cambodia told me. She told me that where she lived was haunted. And I said, can you tell me a story about a time where this haunting happened? They lived in a village in a little settlement over in Cambodia. And I was like, right, okay, tell me what happened. And there was a girl, like a young woman, who over there, you'd have to go through villages, through the woods and everything. Somebody murdered her. She got murdered, right? And obviously other things we won't go into. And a death had occurred. So somebody had died here and had passed away. Well, for nights after, around the time that she'd gone out and was due back, they kept seeing her come back to the village.
That's freaky as fuck.
Going up to the door, banging it and crying. So they had to have like a pastor or a village priest in to bless the place, because what was happening was the person is coming back home, but can't get home because they're no longer in the physical. And everybody in the village were looking out their windows and their doors and everything, and they could see her coming through the woods and back to the house.
Should they have a fucking camera on them?
Back then, there's no technology, see?
I know.
And with that, there's no there was no lighting there and stuff like that. It was very, very deprived area of technology, and they had candles and stuff, and they're all just bricking it because there's somebody here. They don't know what to do, but they know it's spirit. And what
crap yourself.
you just shut your curtains and doors and stay out the way.
Yeah,
And this is somebody I know that's very religious and wouldn't make something like this up, but has experienced it and thought, well, he'd want to know this story, and that's what.
It's just like about traumatic events. It's almost they leave it's like a big energy footprint, and perhaps that's why it almost like resonates for like
Correct.
a while. Like
That's
it. Just,
it. Yeah, if
it's
you like,
such a traumatic
yeah,
impact.
yeah, it does. Yeah,
Is that what it
that's
is?
one of the things. But the other thing could be that your mind, if it going into spirit, isn't at peace or ease because you've just ended your life in your 30s or whatever. However you died or passed away, you've passed, and you on ready.
Do you reckon then if there's a point where you die, and there's a going through or remaining, perhaps maybe the trauma of how you died, you refuse to pass. Therefore, because we said about energy doesn't die, perhaps you almost voluntarily don't cross because you can't come to.
Like terms. So if
You can't. Exactly. So that's why you possibly remain.
It's kind of
Yes,
like
it's
the film
possible.
Ghost, isn't it? That's what happens in Ghost.
Yeah,
he
we turns
dies,
away.
but carries on instantly, doesn't
What a
he?
film.
Yeah, it's a
Great
good film.
film.
I remember that film.
Yeah, go on.
Are you gonna go?
Yeah, I
Right,
gotta
Chris
make
has
a
got to
move.
go.
Chris has got to go. We're going to carry on with this because
Yeah.
we can't,
Alright,
we can't
Chris.
leave it here.
Well, the only thing I would say is that I'd really be interested in like going and doing a ghost hunt with you,
I thought so. Yeah, a lot of
Would
people
you?
are very interested.
and like putting it on as our lad chat, sort of like we do videos every now and again. I'd be up for that.
Things we're gonna walk around.
We'll have to.
If you felt
That's a lot of
someone
stuff to carry
that
around
was
with us.
appropriate. No, but we could
We could
find-
set up a room.
Yeah, we got something. We could use something. I'd be up for that.
Start levitating and get possessed.
Right, yeah.
Anytime, let me know.
We'll
I'd
see.
be
We'll
up for
see
that.
what we
James
can
would be
do.
up for that, Rat,
Be
you
more
would
of
be
a.
up for
I
that.
think
Tom
more of a
would.
venue would be better for that because it'd be easier and
We'll
more
sort one out. We'll
spacious.
sort one out.
Yeah, we'll have to look
I
at that.
got
Take
a
some
bounce
cake, Chris.
Take some cake.
No, I'm okay.
This is
Sorry.
the realities of a podcast, mate.
God.
But
All right, mate. See you later.
And see you soon, Chris.
All right, mate.
Ta-da.
he's making an exit. But no, right. So I got some more some
Okay,
footage
yeah, okay.
of
Do
yours.
you want to hop on Chris's mic? It's probably better than
Yeah.
this one.
Yeah, you'd be more relaxed then.
Yeah.
But as I said, the EVPs to me are the most interesting, to be honest.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's it.
we could do a little pause here, can we?
No, that's all right. We'll keep chatting. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So what's your thoughts then, Steve?
Do you know what? I
James,
mean,
speaking
it's
to
what I
it?
was saying earlier about the whole, like the energy and that doesn't die. I mean, these are things which are, I don't know if it's in absolute certainty, but there's a science behind that that suggests that, we have electricity within us, don't we? There's something going on
there's
with
always
our fingers.
electricity
Yeah,
in us, yes.
Yeah.
you can't kill that.
Mm.
That doesn't
Yeah.
die.
It's kind of like the Force, isn't it? On Star Wars, it's kind of in a basic form.
But I
It is
think,
still a Force, isn't it?
but I
With
think
Force
whenever,
level.
within every story, there's this thing about positive energy, dark energy, negative energy.
Yeah.
And
what
there's
we got
something
to
to be said
remember,
about it.
what we got to remember, right? I think one of the earliest ever writings was about a ghost.
What's that then?
So
The
it
Bible.
was in it was in Rome. It was I think one of the first bits of actual written
Double check that.
language.
I'm sure the
Tilt it
Bible
up,
would have been-
Tom.
Sorry.
Your mic's tilted up.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just
Sorry.
saying, Chris. One of the first talking about ghosts and things like that. What I find interesting with the paranormal stuff, it transcends languages, it transcends time, it transcends religion. One of the first ever accounts of a ghost was a Roman text, a Latin text.
Okay.
And that was one of the first bits of writing ever found. Was actually about a ghost. Interestingly.
Was it?
Yeah, about some guy who was haunted by demons.
I didn't know that.
Which was quite interesting. So it as I said, the thing with ghosts, it does transcend languages. It transcends.
It's just
time.
like about, like I was saying just now, like energy seems to be like within every story, within every culture, like a talk of energy, positive, negative.
Yeah.
Well, it's the biggest thing is Star Wars, isn't it?
That's what I just said about the Force,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
the Force.
And it's true, and it's
And it's
true.
the
There's
Force.
something. It's weird. Like I remember years ago. I think I was speaking to you about it, Chris. One day I was walking home.
Yeah.
And I was working from my house. I'd been somewhere, and I just felt someone was watching me.
Yeah.
Pitch black. I couldn't see.
It's like Michael Jackson right now.
But it was my mate.
See, everybody's in that culture. Is it the music?
Yeah.
It was you, mate, was it?
It was my mate because I didn't know. No, but I'm just saying though.
Worst ghost story ever.
No. This is.
Somebody was watching me, and there was.
Oh yeah, it was my mate. It was my mate James. No, but the
not gonna
point
make
I
a
was
good
making
book.
it wasn't about necessarily about paranormal, but you just know you can feel.
Intuitively,
Yeah,
Like the spider sense.
Same mate,
yeah.
wasn't it?
Like it was pitch black in the middle of the night. It was about 1-2 o'clock, and I'd come home from a night out or something. I was just walking, but I just knew someone was watching me. Then my mate said, "Oh, you got home late, didn't you?" There was no way I could have seen him because it was pitch black, and I couldn't see him in the window.
Well, he told you after the fact.
Yeah, and he told me next day. He was like, "Oh,
Why didn't he say hello then if you're just watching you?
no, because his house is quite far away.
Oh,
he could
right,
see
okay.
me, but I just kind of knew I was being watched."
Yeah.
And there is something weird, like there
that
is something
sense,
like a
isn't it?
sixth sense, isn't there? Where
There's that sense, yeah.
it is odd, and sometimes you do go into a place. Like I've stayed in places before. When we went to the Skibber's Inn with you, when I was filming with you,
Yeah.
I didn't see anything that night. I didn't feel anything. But as soon as you got there was an eeriness about the place. Do you know what I mean? Like I didn't do any research.
When
or
you find it
anything, but-
interesting though to kind of have a place which is haunted or known to be haunted, don't mention it to somebody and just take them there.
Well, I didn't.
Have you ever done that, Chris? And then just to see. Because I think sometimes if you go, oh, this place is haunted,
Yeah,
forever,
yeah.
you're like, ooh, yeah, I can feel it.
Yeah.
That's about that's on a level of control, isn't it? So what you've got to do is control the information. So obviously with one of the experiments we did a couple of years ago was is it working? Is that bad? What do I do? I'll tighten it, is it?
You like something on a weird angle, Chris. Am I doing it the right way?
I'm not sure.
So jump over.
Clockwise should be to tighten it.
Okay, cool.
What is it? Righty tighty, innit?
Righty tighty.
Lefty loosey.
There you
Yeah.
go. Brilliant. What were we saying?
We knew that, James, but you still done the wrong way.
What's that?
We knew that saying, but you still done the wrong way.
I was just hit the moment. Anyway.
What was he say? What were we saying?
So yeah, so
you
about
were
people not knowing about
Yeah.
Right,
that
okay.
information.
Yeah, one of the thing we're running a paranormal research group is so important not to leak information or
Yeah.
feed anybody with anything. Naturally, if we the hardest thing, the question you asked was, have I ever done an experiment where okay, we took somebody somewhere where it's not haunted? It's very difficult to do because of what we do, the nature of the research that we
Yeah.
do. They're naturally going to know, and yeah, he's taking me to this, and it could be haunted. Like, but what I did do was, it was a couple of years back. Mediums, nearly all of them, didn't know where to go, didn't know what the case was. I just sent them a postcode and said, "I'll meet you in the street," and that's what I did. And I met them in the street, and I brought them into this premises, and they picked up everything completely accurate, and it was good information. It was good intel. and they spoke to nobody. I made sure the place was locked down, and they all the actual staff of the premises said, "This is bullshit. You're making this up. You know about it, don't you?" And they were like, "No, Chris has just sent us a postcode, and the phone was there. Here's the postcode. This is all we gave us." So it was good. It was good to see that. It was good to try and put. The thing with mediums is they're very good at working without the knowledge. If they're left to just dig for it, then they're working their skill of what they're meant to be able to do and bring this knowledge through. And from that, I matched it up with the building story, and it was really good. And they were accurate. There was the main drinking area downstairs was actually a place for people who had TB. And they passed away there, and one of the mediums said, "I see loads of people here, they're dead. They're all, there's blankets on them, there's nurses tending to them, but they're dead." So that was because of the TB outbreak. And then another medium went, "I'm seeing soldiers coming in and out of here, what the hell is this?" And I'm looking at my sheet, and on there's the history of the building, and it did have a military, I can't remember the exact, I know it was some kind of military establishment that came through and used that as a base of operations, that premises. So with that in mind, then they were picking up things and seeing things and visuals and war and everything, and it was all correct. I mean, they could have just said it was somebody living there and they murdered their wife and it's haunted, something really generic like that. But it wasn't. It was more along the lines of, I'm seeing military, I'm seeing death, people on the floor, all blanket. It must be horrific for mediums to see.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. It must be freaky. Imagine being able to see that.
Exactly.
It must be freaky.
And it's terrible because I'm doing the research side of it. I'm like, tell me more. I need to know more. And I'm trying to get all this information out. And for them, they're like, you could see the look on their faces. One of the mediums was like that. She's looking at the floor, and I was thinking, oh my god, it's not nice.
Do they all have different ways that they see it?
Yeah.
Like, is it like some in the mind's eye, some they could see it in front of them, or?
I'm not 100% sure because I'm not a medium. But what I do know is you got clear audible, which is they hear it. Clairvoyance.
But do they go back to that time?
Some people do, don't they?
Yeah, they do. I'm not sure. I think it depends if there's spirit there, say like living there, haunting it, whatever. Showing the medium stuff. Going, look at this.
But again, you saw like mass bodies.
Yeah.
It's like, as soon as does anything like open up that in that time?
Well, what they said was the medium said
something that large.
I think it's bodies. The past. It's definitely the past. I don't know if it's the past. I don't know whether all those people were showing themselves dead to the medium, or whether the medium was tapping into the past and seeing an echo of time. But what I do know is they said they've seen a lot of people with nurses there, and they describe the outfit and everything. The outfit.
So is it sometimes where they can hear the voice describing it?
Yeah. Clear audible is another.
Be that.
Is there are mediums that only hear things. They don't see anything because I think some people are not ready for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they kind of block it out, do they?
100%.
Yeah.
So it's all about opening up. Like meditation and opening yourself up. I've noticed with mediumship is people meditate and if they've got I call it a gift. That's what I call it. Some other people find it a hindrance.
Are we all capable of it then?
I think so. Yeah, I really believe we're all capable of it. We're all from whatever this place is, Earth, whatever you want to call it. However, we're all here and we're all interlinked, and with the Creator and whatnot. Whatever you believe in, we all come from this same source, the same place, and I think we all are capable of this. But it's I think it's like opening a door and then you're thinking, shit, what do I do now? Because I've got a lot of things happening to me. How do I sleep at night? There's things happening to me in the room. One of the things I wanted to tell you guys was like, whenever I get an email for a case or an investigation, something happens in my house. I get some activity in my home. We were watching telly the other night. There's a little stool in the kitchen. The stool is used because my missus, my wife, is only like 5 foot, whatever, she can't reach the cupboard. So we got this little stool that opens up.
Hey, I need one of them.
Yeah, they're really cool.
The top shelf then.
Yeah, the top shelf. But it opens up and you just leave it there or you fold it up. It's just one of them stools.
I know the ones. I know the ones.
Yeah,
plastic.
Really, the plastic ones.
Coming green.
This is the. Well,
they
I
do
think I had a
coming
green
green.
one. I'm not show. The cream one, you say?
No, green. They do come
Green.
in. Yeah, yeah.
I didn't have a green one. I had a cream one. Anyway, right. So
It's just little details.
colours of stools.
They matter, James.
Colours of stools. Did I just say that?
Colours of stools, yeah. Got a green stool. I got the doctor's.
Well,
Or a white one, or a cream one.
yeah, cream one.
You're a fucking Labrador if you got a white one.
You are?
A Labrador if you got a white one.
Did you ever see the film Step Brothers
There's
when
a
they,
golden retriever with white shit in it. Sorry, go on.
no, when they were talking on Step Brothers? They go, you never see white shits no more, do you?
No.
Still quite, yeah, it's true.
You
actually.
do. You don't see them anymore, do you?
Yeah,
I
most
thought it
people
was just
pick up
old
their
shit.
dog shit though now.
In
these
80s,
days,
90s
I
thing,
thought
innit?
just
Yeah,
dog
you
shit
did.
there
I
for
remember.
months.
Yeah.
Many a time I stood in the white
Yeah, but people
dog
pick up
shit.
their dog shit.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, you're right, Steve. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta find that. Anyway,
Yeah.
I
Anyway.
fucking
I
digress.
know, we've gone from
Right, going
stool
back
to
to
stool.
going back
An
to
actual
the
stool.
Yeah.
actual stool. So we're watching telly in the front room, and I just get this feeling, this odd, again like a watching feeling to my right,
Mm.
and I just ignore it because I'm like, watching a film, trying to concentrate on the telly.
Yeah.
I don't want to be distracted or pulled away from an evening where you're relaxing. You can have a glass of wine, chilling out, busy day at work, whatever. And I'm watching telly. The dog's on the sofa over there. Mrs. is sat next to me. There's nobody in the house. It's just us because we don't have children yet. So I'm sat there watching telly now. I think it was something like Ben Fogel's Adventures, something like that. Really cool
Right.
show about adventures and in the
For the
wild.
record, I
So
think
they-
Ben Foll's a
I
dick.
seen one with him.
What's
because
that?
I slammed
I
it.
think he's a bit of a dick.
Is he?
For the record, I think so.
Oh, okay.
Good.
Well, I don't know. I just watch his show anyway. So, sat there now, and all of you in the kitchen. This massive it's a horrible sensation because of the sound.
Mm.
It's like someone tripped over the stool, and it went flying.
That's quite an unmistakable sound, isn't it? There's some sound.
Yeah.
Well, what
People
it was,
going up the stairs, you know what it is, and
yeah. But what this was is the stool's feet, and it went across the floor,
Mm.
and the dragging noise across the tiles.
Right, yeah.
And I'm just
yeah.
like, Jesus Christ, I don't mean to say that, but that's what you say naturally in
Yeah.
shock. For me anyway. So I turned to the missus. I'm like, did you hear that? She went, yeah, it's a stool. I was like, oh my God. It's like somebody had walked and kicked it by accident.
Mm.
And you think to yourself, well, somebody's moving around in the kitchen and they've moved the stool. And, it hasn't fallen over or anything like that. This folds out and it stands there. And this has been shifted and we've gone in there and has this moved. So
See, when you know there's only two of you in the house and the dog, and
dog's
you're
on the
all there.
sofa.
Do you know what I mean? It's
I'm putting the house up for sale.
Yeah. Oh, the first night we moved into this house, I flew down the flight of stairs because I got a lot of.
I would have flew downstairs, opened the door, never again.
Yeah, well, yeah, but
Burn
this
it
is
burn it
very
all.
frightening. This was the first night we moved into our first home, and I keep a lot of sentimental things. So like I got a set of keys there, and there's a keyring on it, Jack Daniels. It's my grandfather's. He was in a massive car accident, survived. He was fine. But that key ring is something of his,
Yeah.
I've kept these things from family and that, and I had a black bag full of family stuff, like little ornaments, stuff, family memories and stuff. So just moved in the house. I went up into the spare room and I opened the black bag, started to take stuff out. Now the missus is downstairs, the dog is downstairs, and as I'm taking things out, I feel like a heaviness, really like. And I'm taking these things out, and it's really, really heavy feeling. And all I hear is Chris, like that. And I went, "What's the matter, Scarl?" And I thought, that's not Scarlett's voice. That wasn't anyone I know. I flew down the stairs. And I went, "Scarl, did you just call me? Was that you?" She went, "No, I thought it was you calling me." And I was like, "No, what was it?" She went, "It's not me. And it wasn't you." I was like, "Oh, shit, what was that?" I can't tell you what it was. I know where it came from, though. It came from in between the floors. She's down, I'm up, I'm opening
Chris,
this
and
bag
you haven't burnt your house down yet,
No.
Chris.
No,
Fuck that.
I live there.
No.
For a laugh. I've anywhere I've heard my. I think I've heard my name being called,
Yeah.
but nobody's ever said to me, "Oh, who was that called?"
Yeah, there was no one there to sort of confirm.
So I could
it.
dismiss it as
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I just need some sleep or whatever
Yeah.
the
Well,
fuck.
I mean, that keeps your sanity, doesn't it? At the end of the day, if it is somebody communicating with you and you can't do anything about it, you're naturally going to either be scared or frustrated or confused because you're thinking, what do I do? Well, what can I do? And that's the helpless feeling of somebody communicating with you, if it is that.
And the thing is, right, there are some things that happen, unless you're in the situation, it's when you're talking about it later, it's so easy to dismiss, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, things happen to you, they're very personal. Like, I'll tell you the stone story now.
Okay, this
Feels about the right time. So, right, I was in my house, cleaning my house up,
Cool.
had a shower, took my clothes off, put it on the bed, had a shower, got out, went to throw my clothes in the wash, and I felt something heavy in my t-shirt, in between my t-shirt. You know, when you pull it out, it was like actually in my t-shirt, and it was a little stone, right? A little stone. You know, you can get these polished stones with messages on. You can buy them down in Tenby and all that.
Yeah.
And it said, I can read it. It was there, and it said, "Follow your dreams" or something like that. But it was a bit worn. It was like a bit of an older stone. Anyway, I didn't think anything of it. I thought, oh, it must have got cut. Claire must have got it for me, or Claire must have left there.
Yeah.
Caught up in my t-shirt, and I put it in the drawer. Didn't think anything of it. Anyway, roll forward the next day. It popped into my head. I was like, "Oh, Claire, where did you get that weird stone from anyway?" And she's like, "Oh, what are you on about?" Looked in my house, never seen it since. I physically held it in my hand, Chris.
Yeah.
I physically held it. I could feel it, and it had a chip in the corner. It was like a polished stone. It was the writing had worn a bit, so it looked all like someone had had it for a while.
Yeah.
And it disappeared, and I held it in my hand. You know, like that thing definitely happened to you.
Yeah.
It's one of these things. If Claire was there to see it and confirm it, do you know what I mean? But it's one of these things.
You're on your own, and you experience
Yeah,
it.
and when you explain to everyone else, it sounds ridiculous, doesn't it?
You'll never forget it.
No,
That's
like
the
I'm
problem.
seeing you now. It was in my hand. The strangest thing.
The way I look at that, from my experience, is a message.
Yeah, that's all you can put it down
And
to.
the fact
isn't
that
it?
it's
What do
gone.
you think of messages?
Yeah.
I'm joking.
Keep what? Yeah,
Be careful when you wash your clothes.
yeah.
Follow your dreams.
Check your pockets for
Don't
stones.
leave shit hanging around. That's what the
Yeah.
message is. If nobody says on the stone,
Yeah. But it
don't
is
leave shit in the
weird, isn't
drawer.
it? When these things happen to people, when someone else says they're very personal things, aren't they? And when it happens to someone else,
it's a meaningful thing.
yeah, like Chris being molested by a ghost, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Like to him,
actually, I think it was his toilet that molested him. But there
yeah.
we go.
But when it happens, like if a ghost come here now and just appeared in front of all of us and we saw it, that'd be very difficult to dismiss. Of course, with the cameras, if it's being filmed, someone would say, "Oh, well, they know what to do."
Is there any kind of videos or pictures of a mass sighting of something quite distinctly a ghost?
Do you know the hardest thing we ever had in our research? Now this is what I think happens, and this is what I'm getting from the research that we're doing. Is a lot of it is called the way I'll explain it to you guys is manifestation. So, what we'll do, as an example, and you guys are techies with cameras and everything and sound. If you project white noise in a room and let it just bounce off the walls, and say it's a haunted place, for example. And this is what I'm getting from the research now, and this is what I'm picking up, is imagine your voice box and everything in there that makes it do all the noises and all that, and the voice. Imagine the spirit are able to project something like that in the room and then manipulate. Like, imagine a ghost voice box, for example, right? Your voice box, their throat. As we all said, there's different parts of the body you see in it.
Yeah.
So imagine they manifest.
And Twitter trickers to do that, can they?
Yeah, that's it. When they put the noise there, and somebody who's got a problem with the voice box, they've got a machine, haven't they?
Yeah.
And it talks like that. And it generates that sound, and they're able to manipulate the noise. But what I'm thinking, from what our research shows, is what's happening is they're manipulating sound within the room, and then it causing their voice to come
Would that
out.
make sense? Because it is energy.
Yeah.
And energy.
Finding a wave band or something like that.
Yeah,
It's
they're
almost
grabbing-
like the energy within our reality is probably better than any device,
Yeah.
Correct.
and they could use that to
Yeah.
manipulate.
Again, this is another one where it goes along the magnetic route,
Yeah.
electromagnetics, because what's happening is, as well, if you've noticed, a lot of our cases, we don't hear it.
Yeah, yeah.
The machines
It's
are
only
picking it up.
after.
The machines are picking it up because they're electromagnetic. They're picking it up on a different spectrum of sound.
Yeah, because the frequency
Yeah.
of the human ear can only pick
Do you know
up.
what's about
certain-
David Icke and his talk of frequencies and things
I haven't-
operating at different
He's
frequencies?
very good. He's very deep.
He's very fucking mental.
Yeah.
But I love it.
Yeah. He's very.
I think David Icke is he's not afraid to speak his mind.
It's very 8 hours long.
Some of the things he says is trippy as fuck, but
He's coming to Cardiff,
Yeah.
isn't he, David Icke? Didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, that'd be interesting. No, he's got a big book, haven't he? I haven't read his book yet. A friend of mine wants to show me his book, and it's quite thick,
Yeah,
full
yeah.
of lizard people and everything. So,
yeah.
you know, it's
Yeah, I
it's
don't
interesting.
believe in the lizard people.
No,
thing,
I know, but I
It
tell you,
happens to him, you never
I
know.
tell you what, I did
You
meet
seeing
some.
stones in your pants?
Creepy thing is, I did meet somebody
I just
who actually could squirt out of their mouth from under their tongue. They had something under there, and it takes saliva and actually shoot it out.
have you ever
Could
seen
that
the
be a
Millie
medical condition, though?
Yeah.
It is actually, yeah, but it's something to do with the the way they were born.
It's like when people have cast lips.
Well, we have a reptilian side of the brain.
Yeah.
don't
Well,
we?
yeah,
It was actually 2 little dots under the tongue, and they could collect it and go like that.
But say that,
Which is
now and
mad.
again, you can spray.
Yeah, you can.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Oh no, these are like little
Jeez, how much
indentations.
left
Is
battery
it?
left in the cameras? You know?
You're right with the cameras.
Just check.
No, not that much. All right. I think what we got. Hour and 20 nearly. Happy days.
Cool.
It's one of these subjects you can just talk about all night, isn't it?
I
You
know,
what I
right,
mean?
it's
It's one of,
brilliant.
It's
it's one of
interesting
these
stuff.
subjects.
One of
So-
the,
Yeah,
go
go on,
on,
no,
sorry,
go on,
Now,
go
one
on.
of the really good ones we were doing recently. I'm trying to do little educational courses basically on trying to help my group understand about this research scientifically. And one of the things we covered was photography. So one of the first ever pictures taken of a ghost. And going back through the history is really sad because what it was manipulation for the first time.
Yeah.
They were what they were doing in the old days with photography is they were something to do with the shutters. You know when
Oh,
you
the
develop
shutter
films
speed,
back
yeah,
then.
yeah.
Well, what they not shutter speed. You know like the mechanics of a photo.
Yeah.
Where they put the thing
Yeah.
in the little
And in
sheet.
between, if someone stands
Yeah.
in
Well,
between,
what they were
the
doing,
frame's closing.
they were taking family photos.
Oh, they were overlaying them, were they?
Overlaying them
the
next to a
prints.
member of the family who's already alive,
Yeah.
taking
okay,
a photo
yeah.
and going, the spirit of your loved one is with you.
Yeah,
and stuff
they
like
did.
that.
They done that recently. There was like a little kid in a
Yeah.
field.
Yeah.
Then they looked into a merch. It was actually Anakin Skywalker
Yeah.
from Phantom Menace
Oh,
projected on a
So
fan.
bad.
Do you know what? Do you know
That's
what
the
a lot of
first
people
ghost
do?
photo. Yeah.
A lot of people use glass.
Okay.
So what you'll do, you'll take a photo, you get a piece of glass and project an image on the back of the glass, and it's very difficult to disprove. Like even an expert,
Oh my god, yeah. I
and
can
even an
imagine.
expert would really struggle with that. See?
Yeah, because it's there, isn't it?
Yeah,
But
and that's the
in a
problem
strange
because
way,
there's
like.
nothing.
You just can't trust any fucker, can you?
No.
Like that's the conclusion.
Yeah.
We keep looking. We keep looking. Right, Chris, thanks for coming on the show.
You're
Much
welcome.
appreciated.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
That's us done. So, Chris, where can people find you?
You can find us on our website at www.wprs.org.uk.
Banging. So, you got any poster guides, any activity? Give Chris a bell. I'm sure
Yeah.
can have a look. As we would actually, yeah, we should do that.
What's that?
What we'll do, right? One day, Chris, when you do one,
Yeah.
when
We
you have,
won't fuck it up for you.
No, it's
We'll
not.
stay
It's not.
quiet as
yeah,
fuck.
we'll just stay in a room.
Yeah, just don't
we
run.
can set this
Yeah.
up in the room as we're going, couldn't we?
Yeah. We'll stay
Yeah,
really
don't-
quiet. Nobody will start eating a fucking custard cream and crunch it away.
Do you know what though? This is the thing. We had a ghost spirit of a person answering a question. All they said was no, just the word no. But it happened over the top of a bus passing by. So it's they again use the energy, the sounds, even though it's contamination. Yeah, it's contamination.
Yeah.
But the sound of a bus as well as it passes by, it sounds like white noise. Do you know what I mean?
It'd be interesting if we
So-
have any like noise, if we pick up any
Something.
noise on this.
I
Something
fucking
that
hope
comes
not.
through.
I hope not
I'm not
too.
coming to this living room ever again.
We'll have to burn everything.
Right, that's it done for today. So, ladchatpodcast.yahoo.com. Join us. Come see us on Instagram, YouTube, SoundCloud, and what am I forgetting?
Facebook.
Twitter, Lad Chat Podcast. And we're done. Okay? Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.